Okay, so the first thing that I'd like to do for everyone is just go ahead and mark on the map where you're from with the highlighter. So we have a better idea of where everyone's from. Sorry, I'm kind of lagging too. I don't know what's going on. All right, thank you everybody for doing that. We'll go back to the presentation. Let's see, slideshow. All right, most of you guys are out of the Vegas area, I can tell. We have a few in the north. Let me go into what is APE. Most of you that are here already know the purpose of PE and APE is for students to learn and practice and master skills. That covers the physical, motor, fitness, social, and functional domains. We build capacity for students and provide students physical activities. Recreation and wellness activities are a critical dimension for all people with developmental disabilities. This is a vehicle through which people have fun, meet new friends, and develop competencies. Get this down. Adapted, not adaptive. A lot of people confuse this. Adapted physical education is special education. When we go into our related services, how we go into our IEPs, either you have related services and you'll find the occupational therapist, speech language pathologist, and oh, sorry about that. My slides are doing their own thing. It is a special education direct service. So when you go into your IEP, APE should be under the SDI. APE is a special education or specially designed instruction in the curricular area. Same considerations are determined by the IEP as with any other curricular area. So when you're looking at that IEP, you'll see they'll have ELA, math, all the subjects, and physical education should be under there, under adapted physical education. Any questions on that? Okay. Adaptive physical education. What are the areas of need for adaptive physical education for this student? Does he or she qualify under the 14 educational categories for special education? Well, let's look at those. What are the 13 disability categories? We have autism, which most of my caseload, I have 63 kids on my caseload, over 25 students have that disability. Hearing impairment, I have a couple. Visual, I have one blind student. I used to be a deaf-blind teacher at the Helen Keller School, so I'm real familiar with the deaf-blind. Most of people with orthotic would be an orthopedic impairment. Many of you probably have health impairments, speech and language, traumatic brain injury, intellectual disabilities. A lot of my caseload is also under intellectual disabilities. Do any of you have those disabilities in your classroom? Okay. Go back. When APE is included in the IEP, that means that an evaluation has been provided to the IEP team with sufficient data to determine whether the student requires APE. Number two, the IEP has determined the student requires adapted physical education. The student's present levels of academic and functional performance has been developed. There are goals developed by the IEP team, including some knowledge in the PE curriculum. The least restrictive environment for the student to learn PE curriculum has been discussed, determined from the student's data, and documented on the IEP. And the IEP indicates how student progress goal will be reported. So Derek, it looks like you have a question. I might have missed it. Does APE technically count as pull-out minutes for the students? Yes. Yes, it does. If you pull them out, but you have to, that's a fine line there, because you got to make sure that they're not missing their general ed minutes. So that would be something that you would discuss with their case manager or the person that you're pulling out of their gen ed. They would need teacher permission to pull them out of gen ed. All right, moving on. All right, tools for success in and out of the classroom. A couple of activities that when I'm teaching adaptive physical education, obviously we have a lot of games. We have a lot of sponges, because a lot of our students sometimes get distracted or they don't want to participate. So we have to have other activities. Sponges are a great way for them just to verbally or point to different visuals that we have for them, what they want to do. We have tips and tricks to stay on task, class and individual incentives we're going to go over, and evidence-based practices for behavior. Because I don't know if any of you guys are having issues in your classes with behaviors, or you're getting a lot of referrals just because of students with behaviors, but I'll go over some tips and how to have students be able to self-regulate those behaviors. Let's see. All right, here we go. We're going to do our Nearpod again. So we're going to go to that link and we're going to go to the wall. It's a white brick wall. And if everybody that's here, if you could put your favorite game in school. Let me go to that. And I'm lagging a little bit. Sorry about that. Let's see where we are on our big brick wall. Haven't got anybody posted yet. So maybe in the chat, if you're not able to access Nearpod, if you could put in, what is your favorite game in school that you play? Thank you, Rachel, for letting me know. I don't know what's going on. It could be a lag in the system. Invasion games. Sorry about the Nearpod, guys. I was just trying to make it a little bit more interactive. All right. So some of the fun games that work for any age level and kids that you can continue to play throughout the years. I've been an adapted PE teacher to most of my students from ages 3 and now they're 18. So these are games that they've learned how to play. They enjoy playing. Oh, Switch. I like that one. Mission Impossible. Those are good. Thank you, David. Thank you, Rachel. So one of the fun games that I like playing is Foursquare. I will give you a link to my PowerPoint so you guys can access these, because I do have the variations. I also have a video that you can access. Many of you probably already play Foursquare and know that there's lots of variations to that. Another one that I like to play, it works on the hopping skill with my students, is hopscotch, and there's so many variations to that. You don't have to go linear, you can go circular. You don't really have to have a lot. You can have chalk and set up the board. You can use tape. Some whole class games that you can play is Still the Bacon. I don't know if any of you have played Still the Bacon. I've set a link on my PowerPoint. You can see how it's played. One that I still use sometimes for regulation and just kind of getting everybody ready for the class is red light, green light. I don't know if that's something that you guys continue to play.
That's a fun one, especially if you use like the little stop signs, you know, and the kids can have the stop signs. And
yeah. And the thing is with I put a YouTube, so it can regulate the game for you. So you're not trying to be the teacher. You're just trying to make sure that the students are doing it correctly. Let's see, I got a chat. And it's not coming up. Another one is Predators and Prey. This is a cross-curricular game. It teaches children about the food chain. I like using or playing this game. You have one carnivore and you have omnivores. And basically it's just a tag game. So your carnivore is your main tagger. And you can go around, you can use pennies, you can use flags that you play for flag football. Kids love to move around the world. It's a game that you can use with words and or pictures, and it's a great game for kids to identify different sports. You can have images of basketball, images of soccer balls, and that student has to identify that. And there's a lot of adaptations to that you can make in your classroom. Sponge activities. These are fun things to do when you see a student is disengaged, just wanting to be by themselves, you know, doing that sideline thing. These are different activities that you can give to your students in order for them to still be participating in your class. What's one that you like? Put it in the chat. Is there something that you use? One of my favorites is I Spy and Simon Says. Most of the kids have been playing this since they were in early childhood. I did put some of the upper level, like they use with my high school students, name some winter, summer Olympic events, because I try to incorporate that into my class. We'll have winter Olympics in my high school class, summer Olympic activities. Oh, spider and flies. I like that one too. Another one is list as many prepositions as you can. I love for kids to demonstrate their prepositions. How do you go over? How do you go under? We use these every day. And the thing is you want to encourage different cross-curricular things when you're teaching adaptive physical education, because they do carry over. All of our prepositions are things that our students do use. I'm sorry, the Nearpod's not working, guys. I really wanted to have it, working. Now, if you guys could tell me what your favorite activity out of school is, something that you participate in and enjoy outside of school. If you could just put it in the chat, because the Nearpod's not working. Parkour. That seems to be one of my middle school students that I teach right now. That seems to be the most engaging activity that I can give them. I'll set them up different parkour courses, and they just, I love it. They get rosy in the cheeks. Parkour seems to be pretty hip with the middle school kids. Fishing. Yes. I have a national certification for fly fishing, Brian. So I get that. It's very important. Soccer. Yes, David, soccer is good. So what we're trying to, we're the direction that I'm going with what your favorite activity is outside of school is lifetime activities. How are we going to teach our students to continue this physical activity when they're done with school, or what they have to do on the weekends? One of the things I really enjoy is walking and rolling. It's one of my warm-ups for my high school students. They enjoy it, kind of gets them regulating, going, get them moving. My high school students, I have 5 peers in there, and they walk with my orthopedic students and then my blind students. And then also, you have those talkers, and peers are really good to allow that student to talk while they're walking. Different ideas to create a walking curriculum is walking clubs before or after school. For those students that, don't want to be socially inept, treadmill fitness group activities, and that's what I do. I put a link in my presentation, and it is Nevada Trail Link. Most of my presentation is very Nevada based, so you can go into the Nevada Trail Link, get your kids, hey, here's a trail close to you, you can go here, different ideas. Riding on my quad and walking. Thank you, Tammy. Moving on, another lifetime activity, and I'm going to share this little poem because I helped to create the Challenger League here in Carson City about 12 years ago. So I just wanted to share this.
Here's a baseball story about a game that we all play. It gives a chance for special kids to have a special day. They never have a sellout, yet all are set to play. Their very biggest asset is the teamwork they display. Some helpers on the diamond might hardly know the game, but when you see those great big smiles, they're winners all the same. It's probably the greatest game. It's one you won't believe. It's a truly wonderful story, and it's called the Challenger League. Now you could help support them or be part of the plan. And if you come and watch them play, you'll surely be a fan. Find out where they're playing and plan to spend the day. You'll love to watch the fun they have in the special game they play.
All right, hopefully that resonates with a couple of you. And if it does, please start a Challenger League where you are. We need more people. We need more, definitely more participants and more people taking that on. The Challenger League was founded in 1989. I put some links, like I said, it's all Nevada based. You have the Reno Challenger, you have Southern Nevada Challenger, and you have the links there. Oops. Another lifetime activity, and this is something that I've been using for my recreation therapy, is bowling. Bowling is also, they do have bowling in Nevada. It's a Special Olympic game, and it's in the North and the South. Something that you can definitely get your kids going in. Some adaptations for bowling are bumpers, ramps, adaptive ball grips. We use wedge and ball pushers. Moving on, another lifetime activity is adapted aquatics. I absolutely love adapted aquatics. I used to be the Special Olympics coach here in Carson. And going down to Vegas, doing the swimming. Adapted aquatics is something that you can promote and do depending on if there's a swimming pool close to you. If not, become an adapted aquatics instructor in your area and get kids that you currently teach involved. It's a great thing, especially for all of our sensory kids, and you know who they are, the ones that are just gravitate towards the water. Get them in the water. Let them enjoy that. Something that's dear to my heart and something that I've been a part of for 18 years is Achieve Tahoe. Now it's had different names throughout, but currently it's Achieve Tahoe. They have different activities for skiing, snowboarding, kayaking, paddleboarding, rock climbing, stand-up paddleboard, different activities that is all recreation-based and outside and lifetime activities. I highly encourage you to get involved with Achieve Tahoe or get involved with your Special Olympics. I know down in the South, it's a little bit harder, but you have Mount Charleston. You can get a team going down there for alpine skiing or snowboarding. Any questions? So I wanted to go over Special Olympics for Nevada, what they provide. I'll have links and I'll provide those to you. It's sports training and competition opportunities. It provides athletes of all ability levels the chance to play and be a part of a team. So guys, we're kind of just building up our kids. It doesn't have to be Special Olympics, but we want them to continue to exercise and have activity once they leave us at 22. So in order to do that, we have to start building those skills in elementary, carry them through middle school and high school. So they actually have some transition skills once they're leaving the school system.
Kim,
Good look. Go ahead.
I used to be a coach for track and field years and years ago.
Oh, awesome. I love track and field.
I used to also fly to Vegas.
Yeah,
I
Vegas.
used to have so much fun. I used to work with some of the kids from Eagle Valley Children's Home. But what is youngest age? Like, is it first grade, second grade? Is there a certain age?
It's 6 years old.
6, okay.
And it's really dependent on, yeah, I did put a link to the North and the South, people to contact. So if that's something that you would like to get or be a part of, please reach out. There needs to be more, we need more people in Special Olympics. All right, so probably what everybody is having issues with in their class, and I know I'm not the only person, is the behavior. And I know that most of you guys have probably heard so much about PBIS if you're not already implementing it, and the MTSS, which seems to be coming down this year. Any of you guys using any of those models right now? Okay. Self-regulation. This is a hard behavior to lead and get a child to be able to carry out self-regulation. I did put a link on different tips that you guys can access. One of the things that they're using in our district right now, our occupational therapist is using it. It's called dragon breathing. It's a very good self-regulation with breathing and sitting, just all breathing. Something that I wanted to share right now is a parasympathetic nervous, and this is how we do somatic signs. So if I could get everybody just to take a big sigh. It's a way to take in oxygen. Now, after you take a big sigh, I want you to swallow. This activates the vagus nerve. And generally it brings on a yawning. So if you sigh, then you swallow, generally what's going to come after that is a yawn, and it kind of helps to get your nervous system back. It's easy. It doesn't require any breathing, because I know that some of our students do have struggle with breathing. So this is just a sigh, swallow, and then it brings on a yawn. Classroom behavior monitoring. I'm sure most of you guys have got at least 10 behavior monitoring charts that you're supposed to be implementing while teaching. Hopefully you have paraprofessionals to help you with that. If not, I know as an adaptive physical education teacher, it's hard to have those first then charts with you along with all your equipment and how your assessment tools and things like that. But it's very important to carry that on throughout your class because it is a carryover. If you don't have your behavior monitoring set up in your APE class, you're going to have more behaviors because it's not a carryover like in all the other classes. Whole class incentives. I use a lot of these in order to get everybody some buy-in from all my students. It's really hard to do the fill the jar just because of moving around and being itinerant. However, I do know that it works really well in the classroom. Stars do work fine if you have just a small behavior chart, little laminated board that you can actually add a star for each day. Fidget rewards, students seem to want to work for those and be able to have the time to play with the little fidgets. Another thing is for a whole class incentive is students choose what the teacher wears. Well, obviously this gets a little crazy, but you know, within reason. They love having opportunity to address the teacher. If you could get more of your CLS teachers or special ed teachers to come into at least one of your classes, even your specialists, your occupational therapists, speech therapists, physical therapists to come into your class, you can do students versus teachers game. Kids love it when adults play against them. And then obviously we have the Marzano chart, which I have a link for you. Individual student incentives. I'm sure a lot of you are using these. I don't know which ones. If you could put in the chat what you currently use for your individual student incentives, that would help me know what's working out there or what your students' preferences are. Oh, dojo points. Now, see, unfortunately, I don't have close access to a computer to start sending those out. Now, I have given dojo points off my phone, but I try not to pull my phone out while I'm teaching. It seems more of a distraction or a student wants to use it. So the whole dojo points I can give at the end of class. Now, these are evidence-based practices. A lot of your behavior specialists, and hopefully you have some that you have the opportunity to talk to, so you know how to actually provide behavior services. The ABI, which all of us are using, is the antecedent-based intervention. So your antecedent-based intervention, your ABI, is to predict triggers. Now, most of you already know your students and you use preventative strategies to make sure that the behavior doesn't happen, right? You're trying to extinguish that flame before it starts, right? So basically you're taking the wick out of the candle. You can't even have a fire if there's no wick, right? And then there's behavioral momentum. And this is, you can kind of see this kid's warming up the truck. Okay, you can tell they're about to not be okay anymore. So when you see those things happening, just add praise. Hey, you're doing a great job doing this. Try to basically redirect that warming of the truck, you know. Discrete trial training. I use this on a lot, especially when you have the time or you have that one-on-one opportunity with a student. To see what works best for them. There's differential reinforcement, extinction. Most of you will receive a FBA, a functional behavior assessment write-up for those students, and I encourage all of you to read through that, because these are the things that are written in their IEP that we should be following for their behavior. I spoke about redirection, and then there's task analysis. And as a adaptive physical education, when we're testing those goals, that is a task analysis. Okay, a lot of our students use augmentative and alternative communications. For our nonverbal students, you'll see them come in with a button, and please encourage that in your classroom. It helps the student be able to have a voice in your class, and also too, it allows for them to communicate to others. Parent implemented intervention can help students at home. Functional communication training, it kind of goes back to the augmentative and alternative communication, and your speech therapist should help you on this if you have any questions. And a few other evidence-based is time delay. Give it a minute. Just wait a minute. Let's see if this behavior dissolves. Self-management, which a lot of our students have some problems with this. But a lot of our students, when given the opportunity, know exactly how to do this. Social skills training, I find that in my upper level classes and lower level classes, that I try to get them to engage with their same age peers, not the students that are in their CLS class, but their same age peers that are in their general ed class or their general PE class. Just a simple hi, and have another peer be able to respond to that. Direct instruction, that's what most of us do. We do direct instruction, peer-based, modeling, prompting. A lot of us use technology. Some of us, when it's, especially when we were all digital, we used a lot of video modeling. And if you are an APE teacher, you use a lot of visual supports. One of my favorite is exercise and movement, and you'll find that this helps with regulation. I use a lot of music. I love going outside for the naturalistic intervention. It's a pivotal response. A lot of us use sensory integration. And I don't know, are a lot of you using social narratives in your class? Most of those are given by either the classroom teacher or the speech and language therapist. And if you guys ever have troubles with behaviors, a social narrative can help to reduce those behaviors. Okay, Nearpod's not working. We'll move on from this. All right, these are some true and false. Just real quick, if you could just link in here. Adaptive physical education placement is only for students with physical disabilities. Automatic if the student uses a wheelchair or walker. APE is not for students with emotional or behavioral disabilities. True or false? ALMODCJ, false. Correct. Good job. If a student is not able to learn, progress, or participate in general PE, an IEP team should consider if the student requires SDI and PE modification or adaptation. Good job, everybody. Next question is, students with disabilities are automatically eligible for adaptive physical education services? Sorry, I didn't give you a chance to put it in there. It's false. No student is automatically eligible for APE. All eligibility is determined individually by the IEP teams based on the student's information and performance data. Next, true or false? A student with a disability is either included full-time in the general PE curriculum or has a separate adapted physical education program. This one's a little tricky. Can you put your answers in the chat? Adapted PE or as SDI MPE is a continuum of service. Service delivery is determined individually for each student based on performance data and consideration of his or her unique needs and the least restrictive environment. Physical education. And this one, guys, I've just got to say, this has come up, especially for me this year, due to lack of application of adaptive physical education teachers out there. So, you know, even my director is like, oh, I can get the physical therapist to run your goals. Well, nah, let's read this. Physical education and physical therapy are interchangeable and can be substituted for the physical education requirement. Guys, this is so false. Okay, I had to give my director an idea that PE is a related service, and although they both have physical in the title, these are completely separate disciplines. Physical therapy cannot be exchanged for adapted physical education. Now, these are essential components of adaptive physical education. We have the National Consortium for Physical Education for people with intellectual disabilities. This is a statement that you can give to your administrators to show them why physical education is important. If you guys don't already know the law, I've got a link for you here. It's with Rights Law. I also have a IEP checklist. If you guys are having questions about what do I need for APE in the IEP, you can access that. I put a Shape America position statement for the essential components of PE. This is the criteria for adaptive physical education, the NASP. And then CDC inclusive PE statement. These are all different things that you can give to your administrator or higher ups to emphasize how important adaptive physical education is. And more than anything, all students, regardless of ability, should get the recommended 60 minutes or more of daily physical activity. Okay, guys, and David, I think you were asking about this earlier about accommodations and modifications. So for upper level high school, I put in my slideshow the PACER fitness gram modifications and checklists that you can have access to. And then also when you're going into your IEP for accommodations and modifications, the Health Moves Minds, which is part of Shape America, does have a very extensive list of different things that you can use in your IEP. Equipment modifications. So I was real pleased to see Tammy Ward in the last session go over a lot of these. I do have 2 PowerPoint presentations on this that you can access obviously after or once you receive the slideshow for homemade adaptive equipment and different adaptive equipment. Different ways that you can do this: 2-liter bottles, plastic cups, sticks, balled up paper, newspaper, baggies filled with mulch, chalk, bathroom cups, soft to throw. These are things that we already have accessible and really don't cost that much money that we can use for adaptive physical education. The playing field or the classroom, you can just increase the size or proportion, increase goals, have fewer players, fewer sport specific rules, increase safety factors. How do you change the timing? Oops, went backwards. Vary the tempo, slow the activity pace, lengthen or shorten the game, provide rest breaks, allow to change out after or before all the other students, and have no clock. Rules, demonstrate and model. You need verbal and visual, repetition, partner with a peer, use specific prompts, modify the rules to accommodate the disability, use safety zones and positioning. Since this is Nevada-based, I put all the different places and resources. I don't know if you're doing transition at the high school or even at elementary. I know a lot of parents are like, what do I do for my kid? What are the resources? So I put all these Nevada-based resources in my slideshow with links to all the things that you can see on the screen now. I'm here for SHAPE, and I just would like you to be active and make a difference in Nevada. SHAPE NV is the Society of Health and Physical Educators in Nevada. We provide professional development and workshops. We also give out a Teacher of the Year with your membership. And to make a true change in our legislature, the Nevada State Education Association is a great organization to where your voice can be heard and where we can actually make some change in legislature. If you're not already, please consider becoming a member of SHAPE. Guys, unfortunately, in the state of Nevada, we don't have any guidelines for adaptive physical education. So I have put the different states up here that you guys can access the different APE guidelines. Really want to push for some type of guidelines here in Nevada to be made through the Department of Ed. How do you get adapted physical education certification? For national, it's called APENS. I've sent a link, it's a link in the slideshow. For Nevada state requirements, I've got a link in there for the APE certification. And then in order, go back. And for professional development, I put a link in here for the National Consortium for Physical Education for Individuals with Disabilities. They generally have 1 to 2 workshops per month. And do you guys have any questions? Okay, so I did have a raffle for this, and the raffle prize would be a state membership to our Nevada SHAPE Nevada. And our winner is Stephanie Zimmerman. So Stephanie, if you could send me your email or contact, I'll make sure that I get you a part of our organization. Are there any questions or concerns? Let me put in a link for, let me get this. So you can access this Google slideshow. Let me grab that. And use all the Nevada. Yeah.
Okay, if there's no questions, I just want to let everyone know that our next session is going to be the hydroponics in the classroom. That's creating a generation for scientists, farmers, chefs, and entrepreneurs. And they will be speaking at 11:20. And then lastly, just again, to remember to fill out that survey and to complete your attendance for this session to maintain your CE credits. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you,
Thank
Kim. You're awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. So many resources. Thank you so much.
Kim, you can go ahead and stop sharing.
Oh, thanks, sorry.
And thank you so much